It is Sunday, the 22nd of February. I'm standing in front of the Unitarian Church Montreal protesting against Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy, including, but not limited to, the misuse of Canadian blasphemy law to cover up and deny clergy sexual abuse, including such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. Good day, sir.
Of course, there's that in every thing.
Well, no, actually, you're completely wrong about that. You're right.
Casual orphanage?
No, hang on. Yes, there's clergy sexual abuse in every faith. You're absolutely right. But not every faith accuses someone criticizing them of blasphemy. No, I mean, to accuse someone of blasphemy is insane. Yeah. So here we have a passerby, sort of rationalizing my protest by saying, well, there's clergy sexual abuse in every denomination, which is, essentially correct. There's clergy sexual abuse in most, if not all, other religious communities. But that is not what this protest is about. This protest is about the attempt to cover up and hide clergy sexual misconduct, and in a most shameful and un-Unitarian manner of misusing blasphemy law to try to intimidate me into removing blog posts about Unitarian Universalists who are actually convicted of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. So, it's one thing for there to be clergy sexual misconduct in the Unitarian Universalist religious community. It's almost unavoidable. It's another thing for Unitarian Universalists to cover up and deny clergy sexual abuse in one way or another. And yes, the Unitarian Universalist religious community has definitely covered up and or denied clergy sexual abuse for decades, one way or another. But on Friday, June 1st of 2012, I received an email in my inbox from Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, Maitre Marc-André Coulombe, in which, amongst other various highly questionable and even laughable accusations he brought against me, he accused me of making, and this is an exact quote from the letter, allegedly making, and here we go, unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. And he went on to say that these allegedly unfounded and vicious allegations about Unitarian Universalists, rapists and pedophiles, were defamatory, and in fact that they were so defamatory that they constituted the criminal act of blasphemous libel against the Unitarian Universalist religious community, unless he thought I was, blaspheming against Unitarian Universalist pedophiles and rapists or something. A little bit of sarcasm there. So no, this is basically outrageous legal bullying. It's an outrageous betrayal of Unitarian Universalist principles and purposes, especially the second and fourth principles of Unitarian Universalism, which call for justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, and a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Basically, the Unitarian Universalist Association hired Stikeman Elliott Barristers Solicitors litigation lawyer to brazenly lie about my blog posts about Unitarian Universalist pedophiles and rapists, because A, they were not by any means unfounded. The few blog posts that I'd actually published were about Unitarian Universalists who'd actually been convicted of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. But you know, they were not even close to being constituting the criminal act of blasphemous libel. Far from it. In fact, you know, when I researched Canada's blasphemy law, you know, I discovered that, you know, even if I actually was making false allegations about Unitarian Universalist clergy engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, that this, you know, would perhaps amount to ordinary libel against, you know, whichever Unitarian Universalist ministers were falsely accused, but it would not amount to blasphemous libel against the Unitarian Universalist religious community. The criminal act of blasphemous libel is essentially, you know, blaspheming against a religion. Essentially, it's Canada's blasphemy law, and what it comes down to is, in order to be guilty of blasphemous libel, you have to be, you know, attacking the most deeply held religious beliefs of a religious community. And, you know, so unless engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are somehow sacred to the Unitarian Universalist religious community, if there's some secret doctrine of Unitarian Universalism that I'm not aware of, criticizing Unitarian Universalists for engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape is absolutely not blasphemous libel. So yeah, as I said, just truly outrageous that the Unitarian Universalist Association would not only try to misuse Canada's blasphemy law in this manner. I mean, it's bad enough that they would accuse anyone of blasphemous libel for any reason whatsoever, but to accuse someone of blasphemous libel in an effort to, you know, cover up and hide the fact that certain Unitarian Universalist ministers and certain Unitarian Universalist religious educators, also known as UU Sunday school teachers, are in fact guilty of engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. That is, well, to borrow a word from Maitre Colomb himself, that's despicable. It really is. It's despicable. It's disgusting. It's truly pathetic. Outrageously hypocritical. Total betrayal of Unitarian Universalist principles and purposes. Total betrayal of the second principle, which calls for justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. This is an attempt to pervert the criminal justice system in an effort to cover up and hide the fact that certain Unitarian Universalist ministers and so on are sex criminals of one kind or another. You know, that's a real perversion of justice in every sense of the word, in every sense of the phrase. You know, as far as a free and responsible search for truth and meaning goes, well, again, you know, these are basically brazen, bald-faced lies told by Stikeman Elliott, barrister and solicitor litigation lawyer, Maitre Marc-André Coulombe, on behalf of his client, the Unitarian Universalist Association, which is again, you know, and again, the lies that Maitre Coulombe told in this cease and desist demand letter were fed to him in part by top-level UUA leaders. It's clear from the cease and desist demand letter that in certain areas of it he's actually quoting material that was sent to him by a top-level UUA leadership. I expect that the person most responsible is former UUA Executive Vice President Kathleen K. Montgomery. Kathleen K. Montgomery, one of her main elements of her job description is coordinating the work of the attorneys of the Unitarian Universalist Association. So I think we can safely assume that Kathleen K. Montgomery would be one of the people most responsible for this legal bullying. So essentially what I'm saying here is that K. Montgomery, fed false information to Maitre Coulombe, or highly misleading information to Maitre Coulombe, and he acted upon it. Now the question is whether he did a fact check or not. I think he was certainly in a position to know that his accusations were false even before he made them. There were visits to the Emerson Avenger blog by someone from Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors prior to the cease and desist demand letter being written. So, you know, he should have, and perhaps other Stikeman Elliott lawyers or other legal staff, you know, should have read the blog posts in which I did speak about Reverend Mac W. Mitchell. They should have read the blog post about Richard Buell. And, you know, the blog posts say clearly that these people were convicted of rape. So how Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe can get it into his head that it's somehow acceptable to accuse me of making unfounded and vicious allegations when I'm actually telling things that are, you know, you can read in newspapers is beyond me. So, I think we're going to wrap this up soon. Been here for a better part of an hour. Certainly 3/4 of an hour or so. And I got off to a bit of a late start, so I don't want to stay too much longer, but there are still people showing up, so I may stick it out a little bit longer. It's not cold. I'm not even wearing gloves at the moment. I just got bare hands holding the picket signs, one in each hand. So I think I will put on gloves though, because the fingers are starting to get a little cold. But I basically been protesting for the